Now, what do mountaineering, ballet dancing or surgery have to do with the business world? You might say nothing, but not according to author Rebecca Stevens, who's recently released a book on how to become a successful leader. She was the first British woman to summit Mount Chomolungma, also known as Mount Everest. CGTN's Juliet Mann spoke to her about getting things done.
Well, my new book's called Making It Happen, and the title really says it all. It's really for people who may be struggling in some way or just want more tips and lessons on how to actually achieve something. You might have an idea, but how do you implement that idea and make it happen in a way that's really productive, so you see it from the beginning to the end. Having a strategy is all very well. That's actually the easy bit. The difficult bit is implementing that strategy to time, to budget, to quality, and all the rest of it. So that's what the book's about. And it draws on examples of some exemplars in that field who have made things happen in a wide array of different areas, from medicine to the military to the civil service to the arts to space exploration to mountaineering, to a whole range of different things. And that's really the idea about it.
What you're saying is we need to look outside the job and the industry that we're working in to take those next steps.
An example in the book was a doctor who was actually sort of complaining a bit that, going through one profession, you're taught to think in a particular way, which obviously is incredibly helpful. But in his case, he then went and learned lessons from outside his field, firstly in law and then in business, and brought what a lot of business people might regard as quite straightforward segmentation and streaming and things like that into his medical practice, and really increase the efficiency while not losing the culture. That was really important. The doctor-patient relationship was everything. But he improved the efficiency and the running of his practice without spending an extra penny of money, by the way, so that everybody was happy, most of all the patients, but also all the regulators and such like as well. So these things are possible by just thinking a little bit differently.
Thinking a little bit differently, thinking outside the box. And that's something
Yes.
that you almost thrive on. I know you've also written a book about mountaineering, and you drew comparisons between the worlds of business and the challenges that you faced when you were climbing that mountain.
Yes, I think we all work in different arenas, and the mountains might seem a very long way away from the boardroom and the business place. But, the psychology of human beings is universal. And when you start looking at ambitions and objectives and visions and how you achieve things, which essentially is through teamwork and working with people, then actually our needs as people are very much the same. And climbing Everest was a huge lesson for me, and it may sound incredibly obvious, but it was only on Everest that I really realised that anything of any scale needed to be done together with a team. I'd kind of known that, but not really viscerally understood that. And, of course, without Sherpas, Aung Kami Cherry and the whole of the team, no way would I have got anywhere near the summit.
We all have faced huge challenges with the pandemic, and those challenges are ongoing. So what would your advice be to anyone who wants to be a good leader and who wants to build a strong team in these precarious times?
Over 50% of employees actually feel undervalued in the workplace. Now, when you're together in the same office space, then there's always the opportunity for a slap on the back or a well done or let's have a drink or a cup of coffee. When we're operating remotely, and of course that's been a big issue during COVID, but it will continue, I think, with some hybrid working. And anyway, in global organizations, people are working in teams that are dispersed around the world anyway. So there are a lot of lessons to be learned here, that in the silence, people can often ruminate in thoughts and sometimes come up with the wrong thinking. And so the acknowledgement from leaders needs to be more deliberate. It needs to be more frequent. It needs to be really engaging with the employees, with the team, so that they understand that they are of value, so that people still have that feeling of being a part of the team, even if they are dispersed in different parts of the world, to make things happen. As I said, that human aspect is the differentiator.